James earns millions from internet marketing. Tim's got millions of questions. Welcome to Freedom Ocean. Now, jump on in.
Welcome back, everyone, to Australia's most giving internet marketing podcast, Freedom Ocean. I am one of your hosts, Tim Reed. Sitting on the other side of the fence there is James Schramko. How are you, James?
Great. How are you going, Timbo?
Mate, I'm very excited. We're back well and truly from Fast Web Formula 3, and listeners, first-time listeners might not have heard it, but if they go back to episode 27 of the show, they would have heard you and I do a live podcast from the recent internet marketing event that you put on. So that'd be worthwhile going back and having a listen to. But how do you feel, mate? It's all done and dusted.
Oh, it's a bit of a relief, actually.
I bet it is. What did it meet your expectations?
It did. I do have high expectations. However, I think it came out well. I'm really pleased that we did it. And I think the reaction that I got is even better than I could have hoped for.
Yeah, right. Wow. That's good, because you did have fairly high expectations. What stands out for you?
Community. When I'm standing there at the back of the room while someone else is presenting, I'm just looking at around about 200 bodies, thinking that this all started with me sitting at my desk at 3 a.m. by myself. I was just me. It was me in my after hours, after going home from my job, starting this internet thing, and now we have an entire community that comes together around an event that I guess I created. So it's really quite overwhelming. You
and I were talking about before we came on air this concept of and it's so important to get offline when you live your life online. Actually, getting offline and talking to others and networking is a pretty sensible thing to do, isn't it?
It's definitely the leverage point. That's how I leveraged my business, was to get on an aeroplane, travel overseas, find out the things that I needed to know, meet the people that I needed to meet, and build relationships. And I brought that back into my business. And that's why I create this live platform. I only did it once this year, but I think it is a real coming together of people in our industry. And there was a common thread. People were talking about the fact that they could sit down and have a coffee with other people and have a normal conversation without people looking at them cross-eyed or thinking they're some kind of alien.
It's one of those things with internet marketing, doing anything online, is you can find yourself 5 hours later, having spent those 5 hours online and not spoken to anyone. It's nice to know that there are other people out there doing the same thing.
Well, one of the other things is that not many members of the public understand even the slightest bit of what we're talking about there. And I don't think one expert had a decent line for what it is that they actually do. It still confounds us.
Yeah, it does. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it doesn't corner you into any particular area.
Well, it's about who you are, not what you do.
Well, any moments, mate, that were just like, wow? You were sitting there, either on stage or to the side of the stage. Were there any moments where you've just gone, you felt like punching the air, or felt, that's just fantastic?
Not really.
Oh, come on, there must be something.
I know you get all excited about this. For me, it's the strange thing is it's really just repeating things that I've done in the past, but in a whole new market with totally new players. I used to run big functions. We'd have events at our dealership with 1,500 people coming through it, which I would market with 7 different marketing channels and track and measure and organise food and beverage and advertising and all this sort of stuff, key rings and pens. So it's exactly the same. And I think that's, for me, I guess it's the closest I come to work in my current status. But it was also very satisfying to create something. And as long as the output of it, the videos and the implementations by people who attend comes from it, then it's all been worthwhile.
Yeah, that would be rewarding to start to see some of the things. Tell me, it's the third live event you've put on. You've done FastWeb Formula 1, FastWeb Formula 2. What have you noticed in terms of things that have changed in the industry in those last 3 years, in terms of maybe, technologies or new business models showing themselves? Anything striking this year?
Tim, it's my 7th event.
I take that back. Add 4.
Add 4, and yes, there's been huge changes. The first event that I ran, we had 130 people with laptops, and we taught them how to build a website, which they did in 2 days. Mm-hmm. And on day 2, halfway through, when everyone pushed go and their website went from nothing to something, it existed. There was 130 people all at the same time had a website published. That was like a fist-punching moment, like, wow. But if you look at now, my event is a more mature event, and we're teaching business fundamentals about cash flow and strategy and pricing and leverage. These terms were covered in my earlier ones, but they were sort of the smaller component, and now they're the big component. I no longer think people should learn how to build their own website. So I guess I've grown up, but my whole community is growing up, and some of these people who came to the very first workshop, like Steve-O and Nick, they've come to the first one and they're moving through, and now they have these huge businesses. They have 6 going on 7-figure businesses. Some of my students have built 7-figure businesses even in the last year, because we're now moving into the concept of being an entrepreneur and having a business rather than a website. So it really is not just about the website, and that's the growing up of my workshops. And the other thing is, the workshop used to be to fulfill a speaking commitment. And now I don't do any speaking. So the workshop is an entity unto itself. It is a community get-together. It's a hub, and it's a part of the chocolate wheel, which is on my Mafia plan, which, if you haven't been to the event, you know nothing about what I'm talking about.
Do you want to give the 1 minute summary of that?
You get the videos of the event, because it is a business fundamental that hardly any businesses understand, especially the first session.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a massive point of difference. Hey, coming to the end of episode 28, James, for those who weren't at the event and who are listening to this episode, and they do want to see the event, it was fully recorded. All sessions were recorded. What should they do to get their hands on it?
Buy the videos. Just get these videos, because I really think it was a good event, and there's something in this for everybody. So we'll put a link with this show notes.
Yeah, we'll put a link on the show notes. Just go to freedomocean.com and you'll see the show notes there for episode 28. You can also sign up, and if you were to sign up, you'd have that link sent to you along with the transcript of every episode we ever do. So, hey, James, it's good to be back, mate. I wish there was an audience in front of us, but there's not. So we'll just have to make do with you and I.
Maybe we should do a webinar one where we get people to dial in and we take questions or something. Yeah,
well, we should do that because I know there'd be a few dialing, and it doesn't quite give us that audience energy, but maybe we'll have to get Liam, our editor, to whack in a bit of background ambient
like
noise.
A crowd roar.
Yeah. Oh, there they go. Oh, they're going nuts. They're loving it. Do you want more? Yeah, that's good, mate. All right, buddy. Well, thanks for a great event. Listeners, until next time, you have been listening to Tim and James rattle on about all things internet marketing on the ocean, on the Freedom Ocean. So thanks for tuning in. Speak to you next time.
Thank you. See ya.
See you, James.
Thanks for diving into the Freedom Ocean with James Schramko and Tim Reed. You've just come that little bit closer to living the life you choose. Please keep in mind that the ideas, opinions, and information shared in the show are those of the hosts and do not reflect those of their past employers. And as far as future employers go, well, they're both pretty much unemployable.